business, education, and communication with an emphasis on sustainable development. As we embark on this journey of intellectual exchange, let us be reminded of the words of Albert Einstein, who once said, "The only source of knowledge is experience." Today, as we gather here to present and discuss our research papers, let us embrace the wealth of each participant that they bring on this platform. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, faculty members, and dear participants, it is with great pleasure that we extend our warmest welcome to each one of you to the Maims International Conference 24. This conference serves as a beacon of academic excellence and innovation, providing a platform for budding scholars and seasoned researchers alike to exchange ideas, insights, and perspectives. With this, I, Nanya, and I, Nikita, welcome you all. As we invoke the blessings of Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge and wisdom, let us embrace the spirit of learning and enlightenment. May her divine presence guide us through this event, filling our hearts with intellect and knowledge. With this, we request all the dignitaries to kindly come up on the stage for the lamp lighting ceremony and Saraswati Vandana. Now, we would like to hand over to Ms. Kamna. Request all the dignitaries to please join on the dance. या ब्रह्माच्युत शंकर प्रभृति सरस्वती भगवती निश्चेष्ट ब्रह्म विचार सार वीणा सतधारिणी अभयदा जाड्यांधकारा हस्ते स्फटिक वंदे परमेश्वरी. I request all the dignitaries to please stay on the stage. I request all the dignitaries to please take their seats on the dais. सृष्टि स्थिति विनाशनाम शक्ति भूते कनातनी गुणाश्रय गुणमय नारायणी नमस्तुते. तुम सृष्टि पालन और संसार की शक्ति भूता सनातनी देवी गुणों का आधार तथा सर्व गुणमयी हे नारायणी तुम्हें है नमस्कार नमस्कार. With the blessings of Ma Saraswati, we have invoked the blessings of Ma Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge and wisdom. Let us embrace the spirit of learning and enlightenment. I, Kamna Ved, welcome all the dignitaries for their gracious presence. प्रस्तुत है हमारा कुल गीत देश है प्रथम का संदेश लिए.
देश है प्रथम रखे यह ध्यान, अग्रणी शिक्षा का ध्यान। गमे परिवेश है अपना, स्वच्छ पवित्र रहे हमारे सजग प्रबंधन सफल योजना, सघन प्रशिक्षण प्रयोगशाला कक्षा परिसर बने शोध संस्थान। देश है प्रथम देश शिक्षा की वाणिज्य कुशलता, कौशल अभियांत्रिकी दक्षता, चिकित्सा विधि पत्रकारिता, कला ज्ञान विज्ञान बहुविध शिक्षा से हम बनते जागृत प्रज्ञावान। देश है प्रथम पाठ्यक्रम के पाठ पठन से परीक्षण कार्य सफल होते उद्यम से, नाम केवल इसी मंत्र को अपना कर हम होंगे चरित्रवान। देश है प्रथम ये है प्राण मन बुद्धि आत्मा, विनय जन सेवक साधक बन जाए मात पिता गुरु ऋण है हम पर, यही सनातन ज्ञान। देश है प्रथम
Thank you, everyone. Let me take your seat. Beginning with our full gate with an emphasis on nations first, it's a privilege itself to honor this beautiful audience who have gathered here for the Maims International Conference MIC 24, revisiting business, education, and communication with an emphasis on sustainable development. With an aim of gathering insightful thoughts from our conference, I'm delighted to begin with the felicitation ceremony. We have our chief guest with us, Professor Dr. Dhananjay Joshi, founding Vice Chancellor, Delhi Teachers University. I request Sri S.P. Agarwalji, Executive Chairman, Maims, and Professor Dr. Rajni Malhotra Dhingra, Director, Maims, to come forward to welcome Sir. S.P. Agarwalji and Professor Dr. Rajni. I request Sri S.P. Agarwalji to present a sapling to Professor Dr. Dhananjay Joshi and a shawl. Welcome, sir. I request, sir, to present a shawl to Professor Dhananjay. A huge round of applause. I request Rajni ma'am to present a memento and a gift to sir. A huge round of applause for sir. Students, we welcome you, sir. These applause should not stop. Thank you, sir. Now I welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Bhupesh Chaudhary, IAS Director, Higher Education, Government of NCT Delhi. I request Professor Neelam Sharma, Director Maims, and Professor Dr. Rajni Malhotra Dhingra, Director Maims, to welcome sir, and and Professor S.S. Deswal to welcome sir with a shawl and sapling. I request Deswal sir to present a shawl to Mr. Bhupesh Chaudhary. I request Rajni ma'am and Dr. Manoj Verma to present a memento and a gift hamper to sir. Thank you, sir, for your gracious presence. We have amongst us a special guest, Dr. Vijay Garg, Chairman, SCAC Delhi, Department of Environment, NCT Delhi. I request Sri Rajneesh Gupta ji and Professor Dr. S.K. Garg to welcome sir with a shawl, sapling, memento, and a gift hamper. Dr. Vijay Garg, Chairman, SCAC Delhi, Department of Environment, NCT Delhi. A huge round of applause. Thank you, sir, for gracing this occasion. Dr. Vijay Garg, Chairman, SCAC Delhi, Department of Environment, NCT Delhi. We have amongst us Mr. Ibai Rigbai, architect and urban planner, RWTH, Engine University, Germany. Welcome, sir. I request Professor Dr. Neelam Sharma, Director Mate, Professor S.S. Deswal, Sri Rajneesh Gupta ji to welcome sir with a sapling, shawl, and a memento. A huge round of applause. These applauses should not stop. We have amongst us Dr. Jwala Prasad, Director, Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Smriti, Delhi. I request Sri Rajneesh Gupta ji and Dr. Manoj Verma, Head Department of Business Administration, to welcome Sir with a sapling, memento and gift. Dr. Jwala Prasad, Director, Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Smriti, Delhi. A huge round of applause. Welcome, sir. Dr. Jwala Prasad, Director, Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Smriti, Delhi. Next, we have with us Mr. Shishir Sinha, Associate Editor, The Hindu Business Line, Delhi. Next, we have Mr. Abhishek Gupta, General Manager and Head, International Appliances and Strategy, EESI, Ministry of Power and Government of India. Sir is on the way. He's about to reach. We have amongst us Architect Rajendra Kumar, Director, School of Architecture and Design, LPU. I request Ms. Sarita Garg, IQAC Coordinator, and Dr. Shilpi Agarwal to welcome Sir, and Tripathi Sir to welcome Sir with a sapling, memento, and a gift. Thank you, sir. I request Professor Dr. Rajni Malhotra Dhingra to welcome Shri S.P. Agarwal ji, IAS Executive Chairman, Maims. I request Rajni ma'am to welcome Sir with a sapling. Shri S.P. Agarwal ji, IAS Executive Chairman, Maims. I request Professor Dr. Sachin Gupta, Dean Research and Innovation, Mate, to welcome Shri Rajneesh Gupta ji, Secretary, Mates, with a sapling. Shri Rajneesh Gupta ji, Secretary, Mates. I request Dr. Manoj Verma to welcome Shri S.K. Garg ji, Director General. Professor Dr. S.K. Garg. A huge round of applause. I extend a heartfelt thanks to the esteemed audience, presenters, august gathering, respected colleagues, and dear students who have gathered here from diverse places for MIC 24. I hope these 2 days will be the most productive days of interesting and stimulating discussions. Vidya dadati vinayam vinayadhyati patritam patratatvadanam namaproti Dhanardhamam tat sukham. From education comes modesty, from modesty comes eligibility, and from eligibility comes wealth, from wealth comes religion, and from religion comes happiness. With this note, I welcome Professor Dr. Rajni Malhotra, Director Maims, for the welcome address. Over to you, ma'am. A very good morning to the chief guest of the day, Professor Dr. Dhananjay Joshi, Vice Chancellor, Delhi Teachers University, Mr. Bhupesh Chaudhary, IAS, Director Higher Education and Guest of Honor, Ms. Radhika Jha, she will be joining us on online from St. John University, Mr. Abhay Rigby from Germany, Mr. Vijay Garg, Chairman SEAC Delhi, Jwala Prasad ji, Director Gandhian Samriti, Mr. Shishir Sinha, and although our chairman is not with us, but then he has sent the message to us, Dr. Nandkishore Garg, founder chairman, Maims, Shri S.P. Agarwal ji, Executive Chairman, Maims, Shri Rajneesh Gupta ji, Secretary, Maims, Professor Dr. S.K. Garg, Director Journal, Professor Dr. Neelam Sharma, Director, Maims, Professor Dr. S.S. Deswal, Professor Sachin Latta ji, Tripathi ji, Chief Finance Officer, HOD of various departments, faculty members, and my dear students. So I will begin with this, that what an intellectual, vibrant morning. Dear all, this year, Maims is celebrating 25 years of its existence. At this juncture, when we have grown up as a mature institution, our action, our activities, and academic excellence has also touched a new height. We have been accredited NAC by NAC A++. The theme of the conference, Revisiting Business, Education and Communication with an emphasis on sustainable development, is a very well thought of their topic taken by the organizer. As under new education policy too, we are giving emphasis on the holistic education and development. And for this, it has become very, very important to make a delicate balance between development and environment. As in the absence of one, the other cannot sustain. As according to Mrs. Indira Gandhi in a conference, poverty is the greatest polluter. Hence, development is must. But simultaneously, the health of Mother Earth cannot be compromised. Moreover, in Indian culture, we always worship nature, sun, rivers, trees, because they are the givers. पिबन्ति नधा स्वयमेव नाभय स्वयं न खादान्ति फलानि वृक्षा नादान्ति सस्यम खलु बरिवाहा प्रोपकाराया सत्ता विभृत्य. It means that neither river drinks their own water, nor tree eats their own fruits. And here I am pleased to inform you that we as an institution always try our level best to give the cultural values to our students. And okay, we on the regular basis we are organizing these kind of activities. I am also pleased to inform that in this conference, 125 researchers are participating in this conference because their paper has been selected. We received more than 350 papers, but 125 papers have been selected for this conference. Total 8 tracks on various sub-themes has been identified, and for each track, we are giving Best Paper Award of rupees 3,100. I'm wholeheartedly thanks ICSSR for sponsoring this event. I also thank ONGC and Gandhian Samriti because they are inaugurating their center today in this conference only. They are also they are starting the center with us. And we are also starting value-added course on non-violent activities, non-violent language. I also thank St. John University, USA, to be our academic partner. We have collaborated with 5 journals, which are ABDC and Scoopus Index. Additionally, after this conference, we are publishing 2 books with ISBN number. I wish all the best to the participant and hope that with this conference, we will learn a lot. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the welcome address. Now, I would like to introduce our esteemed chief guest of MIT 24, the Honorable Founding Vice Chancellor of Delhi Teachers University, Professor Dhananjay Joshi. Professor Dhananjay Joshi is the founding Vice Chancellor of Delhi Teachers University, established in January 2022 by Government of NCT of Delhi. In a career span over 2 decades, Professor Joshi has donned many hats: a teacher, a scholar, poet, and an author. Formerly, Sir was Dean and the Professor of Education at GGS IPU University, New Delhi, wherein Sir has also amongst the founding faculty members of the School of Education. Sir has been facilitated by many literary and cultural organizations. This includes the prestigious S. Radhakrishnan Memorial Award 2008 in the field of education and the Best Speaker Award at the 26th Youth Parliament competition organized by the Government of India in 1991. Sir has also received the Bharat Ratna APJ Abdul Kalam National Youth Icon Award in 2018, the Dwarka Srijan Shri Award in 2018, the Abhimanch Sahitya Puraskar and the Sanskrit and Hindi Academy Award by Delhi government and many others. I am delighted to invite Sir for his address. Professor Dhananjay Joshi, a huge round of applause, everyone. The sequence of events has been changed to leave for an urgent meeting. So, sir is asking the audience. Yes, everyone, please maintain silence. Over to you, sir.
Namaskar. Very good morning to one and all present on this esteemed day. Very Honorable Shri S.P. Agarwal ji, who is acting as the chairman of Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Management Studies. Very own Shri Nand Kishore Garg ji in absentia. Rajneesh Gupta ji, the secretary. Our very own Bhupesh Chaudhary ji, director higher education, is a very dynamic director higher education under whose leadership Delhi landscape of education is developing. Professor S.K. Garg ji, our former principal of Deen Dayal Upadhyay College, Delhi University, and advisor here. Shri Vijay Garg ji, श्री ज्वाला प्रसाद जी, जो कि गांधी स्मृति से हैं और हमारे अनुज हैं. Rigby from Germany. First of all, I take the opportunity to congratulate the institution, Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Management Studies. It's completing 25 years, the glorious 25 years. So this is a matter of pride that the institution which has been in Delhi's landscape, one of the best institute in IPU University, because I've been part of the IPU University. So I've seen the first choice of the student is always made Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Technology or Maims, Maharaja Institute of Management Studies. So my dear students, you are very fortunate. You are the part of a legacy. You are a part of an institute which has a remarkable history, not only in India, but its saplings are going out. I have learned that the institute is going to overseas also. So it's a very remarkable journey, and the philosophy behind this college or institution, you must know that the people, those have been the founders, they all are philanthropic, and the organization or the trust which is working is also a volunteering trust and doing so well, not only field of education, but medicine, journalism. My dear friend Mr. Pathak is also here. He's a very nice, correspondent earlier also. And I believe that the institution, I've heard that somewhere, I've read, because I'm a man of literature, so I've read a very beautiful couplet of Ghalib. He said कि मैं अकेला ही चला था जानी पे मंजिल मगर, मैं अकेला ही चला था जानी पे मंजिल मगर, और लोग आते गए और कारवां बनता गया. So the institution, which is, it's a basic sheer hardship of your the founders, and really I give my salute to them because of their dedication, perseverance, their honesty, their transparency. Delhi has got such a nice college, and which you are the part. And somehow I was also the part of this college since inception. When the first JAG, Joint Assessment Committee, came, I was the convener. When the Professor K.K. Agarwal was the Vice Chancellor, he signed me in this college, and I was the part of the team, the logistic team. We have given the affiliation to this college with first intake, and my memories are very sharp that day that I've been associated with them. And surely I am again reminding one thing that this college made a long kind of a legacy, a long kind of history in the history of education in Delhi, and now it's promising to all over India and the world. Now I come to the another part that India is celebrating the 75th independence just now. We are still celebrating the Amrit Kal. And in this Amrit Kal, the Azadi, the Amrit Kal, which we have seen that where our government has given, the central government has given the target, especially the Viksit Bharat at 2047. And we should also strive for Viksit Bharat, because in our generation, when we were the student, we have seen that the people, my teacher used to tell we are living in a developing nation. Now I used to tell my own children that we are a developing nation. But how long India will be a developing nation? हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन, बट वो दिन कौन सा होगा, इस जनरेशन को उसका उत्तर खोजना होगा. क्योंकि ये जनरेशन जो हमारे सामने बैठी है, भारत की वो जनरेशन है जिसने विश्व में अपने कीर्तिमान स्थापित किए हैं. The Sundar Pichai, the Parag Agarwal, the Indra Nui, you can count million of Indians, those are abroad, the Ambati brothers, the first scientists, and the legacy is so on. So in this millennium time, in this Amrit Kal, we are very fortunate that we are discussing on revisiting business, education, communication, with the core emphasis on sustainable development. I believe that all the areas with the organizers, they have chosen the revisiting. Why we have to revisit? Why we should see the back? Revisit means ke piche dekhna. We have to again revisit, because India was culturally very nice. India was always, have you seen the Vedic tradition? You see the Anu Bhadra Krato Yantu Vishwataha. That is the first richa of Rig Veda. That is the first richa. We said we should always we should open our arms for the sake of knowledge. This country which talks about knowledge, this country which is a country of wisdom. But if you see that when you have to revisit, you must read Sarpalli Radhakrishnan, who was the second president of India, and he's written a very good book in very qualitative book on Indian philosophy. He said that India is a country which talks about wisdom. जो देश बुद्धि की बात करता था, जब विजडम ओरिएंटेड डायलॉग हुआ करते थे, एंड वहां से हम डिग्री ओरिएंटेड एजुकेशन पर आ गए. हम सिर्फ डिग्री और सिर्फ डिग्री दे रहे हैं, और नौकरियां देना, ये केवल नौकरियां देना ही यूनिवर्सिटीज और एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस का काम नहीं होना चाहिए. Because we have to give them some kind of, we have to also give them some thinking, the critical thinking, the reflection. We should not only produce the job gainers, but we should also provide the job providers, which is the mantra of government also. And the government is working so hard about entrepreneurial education, business mind blaster, and so many educational schemes. And our government is also talking about the Viksit Bharat, Atmanirbhar Bharat. And for that Radhakrishnan ji, that book is very relevant, which talks about we have to see our glorious past, which talks about wisdom. Then from wisdom to became just knowledge. And now teachers are not from knowledge, they came to information. So this is a downfall, and we have to also trace from the history that where Vidyotama, Gargi, Ahilya, Chanakya, we have a legacy of people. Those have traveled so long. Hinsang, Fayan came in this country. They have given our travel logs. They have shown us our history. Even they born before the Aristotle and Plato. That country which talks about, that country is only based on information education, and information to become only data collection. That is a tragedy. The wisdom-oriented education, which should be our first mantra, which should be our first objective. We came to knowledge, and knowledge to just information. And just information to kaun banega crorepati, that data information. The data is important, but we should not focus only on data, because otherwise we'll be just crammers. We will be just crammers, and that cramming is going on. And my dear friends, that we have to work something on originality. We have to work on something, not only concept delivery, but origin of the concept. What is the idea of a Bharat? The idea of Bharat, that जब जीरो दिया मेरे भारत ने, दुनिया को तब गिनती आई, देता ना दशमलव भारत तो चांद पे जाना मुश्किल था. We have invented decimal, we have invented zero, and we have given the best to the world. But unfortunately, one of my friend, he has given a tweet in X. He said that the best of Americans working for America, the best of Japanese working for China, Japan, best of Chinese working for China, the best of Koreans working for Korea, but the best of Indians working for others. This is the great time. This is the great tragedy, that every youngsters are nowadays planning to settle on Adelaide or in New York and Australia and Canada. दिस इज नॉट ए वेरी गुड साइन, कि अगर ये सब लोग भारत से बाहर जाने की सोचेंगे तो फिर भगत सिंह कहां पर रहते. अगर वो भी डिसाइड कर लेते तो भारत आजाद नहीं होता. अगर पीजे अब्दुल कलाम भी डिसाइड कर लेते तो भारत को मिसाइल मैन नहीं मिलता. लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली द ब्रेन इज ब्रेनिंग. दैट इज द वेरी वेरी क्रक्स ऑफ न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, कि हमें ब्रेन ड्रेन टू ब्रेन गेन करना पड़ेगा. वी हैव टू थिंक फॉर फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आवर ओन कंट्री. सबसे पहले हमें अपने देश के बारे में सोचना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि देश से ऊपर कुछ नहीं है. तो मुझे लगता है कि आई विल नॉट गिव यू मोर sermons. I am very, very happy. I am very, very candidly. I am sure that this conference will give you new impetus. It will horizon broaden your views on various aspects, because I have seen that that various scholars are coming in 2 days for discussing about sustainable development, because of so many problems of climate or ozone layer depleting, and various other kinds of problems are coming. Our economical situation and various other things has to be discussed under sustainable development. I am sure that this conference will give us a new pathway in terms of business, in terms of education, in terms of communication. All are very, very important area. I'm sure that people will think about it. I'll rest my views with this note. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, indeed, India will culturally rise, and our knowledge should be our. Thank you, sir, for encouraging message to students to work for our own country only. Thank you very much, sir. It is my privilege to introduce our guest of honor, Mr. Bhupesh Chaudhary, IAS Batch 2014, presently Director, Higher Education, Government of NCT, Delhi. Sir is also alumni of GGS IPU. It is our immense pleasure to have Sir amongst us. Thank you, sir, for coming, and I invite you for your address on the dais. Mr. Bhupesh Chaudhary, a huge round of applause.
Thank you, ma'am. Respected Shri SP Agarwal ji, respected chief guests of the event, Dr. Shri Dhananjay Joshi ji, other members who are present on the dais, faculty members, deans, teachers, and my dear students. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude and gratitude for inviting me, for having me over for this event. As I would also like to congratulate that Maims has completed 25 years of existence. So it is not a small task. It is not something which happens every day. So as Mr. Joshi was also speaking about, I think you are all very fortunate to be a part of the legacy. As we all complete 25 years, we have a lot of span to look back to and learn from our experiences, and to see how we can leap forward. How can we leapfrog into the future? As everybody today, we are talking about Viksit Bharat and how India wants to be a developed country by 2047, a dream that our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, has, he has left a spark, ignited that spark in all of us, that we cannot be perpetually developing nation. So, but for this, as you understand, everything, a lot depends on the youth that we have. So we have the youth that is present in front of us. Some of them have uh, migrated into the Yog Nidra avastha. Some of them have, just transcended. But I would request, to think about the larger perspective about why we are all talking about India being a developed nation. India was a home to the great universities. I'm sure you must have heard about Nalanda University, Takshila University. So Nalanda University, as you know, was set up in 5th century AD. 5th century AD was when still the Europeans were living in jungles, and it was devastated. It was devastated in 11th century. That was the time by the invaders, of course. 11th century, it was devastated by the invaders, and that was the time when the first university was set up in Europe. So India was already at that level. India was already a Vishwaguru. And Nalanda University, I'm told, when you read the history texts, it had about 10,000 students from all the other countries, about 2,000 teachers, and they were talking about wisdom. It was not about degrees or formal education and things like that. They were already talking about what have started to realize, and we are now starting to talk about new education policy. So India had already seen that. Unfortunately, due to various reasons, as you all know, during the colonial periods, we lost about $45 trillion of wealth to the our invaders. But I feel, it is time to learn from the history. It is time to understand the time has come. India enjoys a big demographic dividend. India has the potential to supply the workforce to every country. And demographic dividend, if we talk about, you already know that we have half of our population is less than 35 years of age. Half of our population is going to be a working age population. India is going to enjoy the demographic dividend till 2056 at least. And the demographic dividend is going to peak into 2041. So, demographic dividend, it is important and that it remains a dividend. It should not become a liability. When I was in school, I still remember उसमें हमेशा कई बार ऐसे आता था population Abhishap ya a bane or boon. So, but today we realize, that there's no question about it. And we have to learn from those experiences, ensure that our workforce is skilled technically, and they have a moral aptitude. The moral compass should be at the right place. Education, as the chief guest also was talking, the role of the education and the university is not to roll out the formal education, formal degrees, and things like that. The education institution also has a big role in setting up the moral compass of a person into the right direction. So, the most important thing is to become a better human. You can be a great engineer, great salesman, great investment banker, but I think it is very important to become a great human. When you strive to become a great human, along your journey, along the way, you will automatically develop qualities which are going to help not only you, it will help your community, your parents will be proud of you, your community, your state, your nation will be proud of you. So I think that is what we all should be striving at. And again, talking about leapfrogging, now we have started to think about how will we leapfrog in this 25 years. So 25 years, 75 years we have completed independence. Next 25 years can take us into a developed domain. How will we do it? Germany has done it in uh, after World War II. It is called the Miracle on the Rhine. Korea has done after the Korea War. It's called the Miracle on the Han River. So it's impossible to think why we can't do it. Uh, having India is a home India has such a rich history, legacy, and so much of ancient wisdom. And now the technical workforce, people like you, who are there, who are ready to work and toil for the country. So I don't know, I don't see why it is not going to happen. The only thing which is required is that all of us should have belief in ourselves and, you know, take pride in whatever we have, and take pride always. We have to see how can we contribute to the growth of the nation. All of us coming out of a university, coming out of a college like this, I don't think anybody of you should be worried about getting a job. Job should not be a problem. But the thing which you should be always constantly thinking about, how are you going to contribute into the national growth? How are you going to dovetail your personal, professional growth with the national growth? How are you going to dovetail it? So that is the question which all of us should be asking. We have seen how Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan has put India into a different orbit altogether. United States of America, they were amazed. How can we develop Chandrayaan, which is so cheap, which is cheaper than their Avatar movie, and we can actually show it to the world. That it is not only somebody with deep pockets who can do it. It is how you can innovate. Cost management, again drawing from the principles of management, since we have management students also here. So how can you optimize your costs? How can you optimize your supply chains? How can use minimum resources to achieve your goals? India has shown it. Now, how part. Now, what we want to become, we want to be developed by 2047. That we have all of us know about it. But how will we achieve it? Demographic dividend, we have all talked about. We have demographic dividend, but how can we exploit it? Number one, I think it is the skilling. So there has to be a focus on the skilling. There is no second thought about it. The ancient Indian society was a skilled society. Unfortunately, now, as there's so much emphasis on the skilling, somehow, the traditional methods, the traditional respect on working with hands is been lost. Somewhere, I deal with the ITIs also, and I feel I interact with the students. Somehow I feel that the dignity of working with hands, the dignity of labor is losing out in our Indian society. So I think that is where we all should be working. We have to learn to produce something with our hands, and to bring back the pride, and I don't know how the stigma got attached with working with the hands, but skilling is the way to go. Until and unless we are able to skill so many of the youth, I think it has a big chance that they can become a liability for the nation. Second is research and development. Colleges, institutions, educational institutions, universities, all of us have to find out ways. India has failed to some extent into the formal research and development, how it has term to be called after the independence in the new world era. Now, how the research and development has unfolded, India unfortunately could not become a part of it. So there has to be a very, very orchestrated and thought out a focus on research and development within the institutions, linking the academia with the industry, and develop, solve the problems which are socially relevant and commercially viable. So that is why we have to develop this R&D focus. Third, I feel that innovation and entrepreneurship. Innovation and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not a new word. It was always a part of the Indian society. We have seen that how India was before the invaders came. India was all called the Sone ki Chidiya, and it was the land of traders. It was in the Silk Route. So the people were doing so much innovation in the kind of products, things like that. So multidisciplinary curriculum of NEP that we have now started to talk about, I feel that this is going to stimulate mm, innovation and entrepreneurship. The other day, I was reading the Isaac Walterson, the biography, what he wrote about Steve Jobs, and the Steve Jobs also said that why of how he focused on developing something beautiful. His focus was not only developing a very mean and very technically sound machine. He wanted to make a machine which looks also beautiful. He wanted to develop fonts which look beautiful. So he said that how I could do it is that because he attended one subject, calligraphy subject in his college before he dropped out. And that gave him an inspiration to into the aesthetics, how to marry the aesthetics and the technology, and that's how the Mac was born. That was he said that's what he said in one of the interviews, and I that is totally agreeing to what he said, that we have to focus on interdisciplinary curriculum, interdisciplinary curriculum and subjects. The more we have to expose the young minds to various disciplines, so that a humanities guy is able to appreciate technology. A technology guy has to appreciate business management. Until and unless we all learn to do it, there cannot be a holistic development. There cannot be a wealth creation. Wealth creation is important. Wealth creation is so important right now. I feel that is the only way. Wealth is like an oil, that whatever building blocks, whatever components that we are talking about, Viksit Bharat, innovation, this, but how it will make, how run, I think it is creation. So all of us must be focusing on how do we create wealth for the country, for ourselves, for your parents, community, states. How can you make contribute India going to the next level? So, inter multidisciplinary curriculum, we have already spoken. We have already spoken how this can help ignite a spirit of nation building. Until and unless we are exposed to different cultures, and India is already blessed with so much diversity. I don't think I've traveled to many nations in Europe. I've traveled to Australia, but I have not seen a nation as diverse as ours. So we are blessed to be born in a country which offers you so much diversity, which offers you so much history and so much legacy to learn from. So I think this is the best time to be in the country. Break new grounds and the civilizational values. Civilizational values. What do we understand from civilizational values? Because India is an old civilization. India is not like Australia. India is not like America. India has a lot of legacy. It has civilization. It was which can be traced to 2500 BC. So we have to learn from our civilization, ancient values, and make make space for ourselves into the future. So, closing on those words, I think thank you all of you for having me here, and thank you all the board of directors who invited me here. It was a pleasure to be here. Completely honored. Thank you, Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful words of wisdom. It's time to embrace India's knowledge and be a great human being and be thankful for our community. So, our focus on innovation and research is very important. Students should focus on how we can create wealth to our country. Thank you so much, sir, for your gracious presence. Thank you very much. It is my immense pleasure to invite Sri S.P. Agarwalji, IAS Executive Chairman Maims, for his address. Sri S.P. Agarwalji is a retired IAS officer during his career spanning over 35 years in IAS. Sir has served with distinction in almost all positions in Government of Delhi, its associated bodies, GOI, and also headed remote union territories outside Delhi. After his retirement and government service in 2005, Sir had exposure at senior-most managerial level in leading companies in corporate sector. Thereafter, Sir has been associated with various educational institutions with the objective of improving the academic standards and making education more purposeful. Welcome, sir. Over to you. Shri S.P. Agarwal ji.
Our founder chairman and chief advisor, Dr. Nandkishore Garg in absentia, Shri Vineet Lohia ji, chairman of Maims in absentia, Shri Rajneesh Gupta, secretary Maims, Shri Anand Gupta, treasurer, Shri Mohan Garg ji, joint general secretary, Professor Rajni Malhotra Dhingra, director, Maharaj Agar Singh Institute of Management Studies, all distinguished dignitaries on the dais, faculty, students, and participants. This International Conference 2024 on revisiting business, education, and communication with emphasis on sustainable development, I feel, is extremely timely. In fact, this is the demand of the times. Unless we focus on sustainable development, whatever we try to achieve would ultimately be counterproductive and would not lead anywhere. Whatever venture you are involved in, ultimately it becomes a business venture. And in any business venture, there are three kind of stakeholders. One is the owners or shareholders, the other is customers, and third is society at large. The owners or shareholders, they want to improve the top line in their balance sheet and maximize profits. Customers are only interested in getting the best of products at the lowest of prices, while the society is interested that the place where they live, the environment in which they live, should be maintained and should not be damaged in any way by business activities. For instance, they are interested that the soil should not be used for dumping industrial waste. They want that the subsoil water or the surface water should not be polluted. They want that the air in which they are breathing should not get polluted. In fact, it is a last factor, namely concern of the society, which is most important as far as sustainable development is concerned. What happens when development is not sustainable? The best example or the worst example of that is Bhopal gas tragedy of 1984. You know, the best location in Bhopal on Shamli Hills, 5 acres of land, was available with Union Carbide for this particular factory. Union Carbide at that time was the bluest of the blue chip. Their ever-ready cells and batteries were such a common item that all over India, all over world, those things were being, and they were a big producer of industrial chemicals and also pesticides and insecticides. Now, this particular plant was supposed to be a state-of-art plant, but because of poor maintenance, because of their concern to flog the plant, there were issues. And in one of the independent audit of the plant, some shortcomings were pointed out. It was mentioned that the plant should be shut down for some time. And after shutting it down, the maintenance should be done. The management thought that if they shut down the plant, then the profits would come down, the production would come down, and they ignored it. Then the employees warned that in one of the tanks, there was a leakage and it could blast. Again, that was ignored. And the consequence was leakage of milk, which led to death of thousands of people in Bhopal and almost lakhs of people they would continue to carry the stigma and the medical problems throughout their lives. It was because the concern of the factory was only maximizing profits and not taking care of the society, taking care of the people where the plant was operating. Another interesting case here would be that of Tuticorin. You know, in Tuticorin, the biggest copper smelter of India was functioning, run by Vedanta. And all the industrial waste, the sludge and everything was being dumped around the plant. It had been pointed out by on couple of occasions by Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board, but nobody listened to it. The material was not only not removed, but further material kept on being piled. Eventually, people rose up in arms. There was a huge demonstration. Police firing was there, which killed 10 people, and then that plant was closed down. Now, it happened because while the plant was good, we needed that kind of a plant to produce copper. We also wanted the environment to be preserved. We did not want the soil around the plant to be polluted with all kinds of industrial waste. Since the company did not listen to it, so now for the past 5 years, the plant is closed. What I'm trying to say is that if your activities are sustainable, you have taken care of your surroundings, of the society, in that case, in long run, your profits would increase further. Your organization, your entity, whatever you are running, would be more resilient and it'll grow faster, it'll create more profits in the long term. But if you are short-sighted, in that case, while in the short term, you might be able to make profit, in the long term, you would find that your plant is only closed down, your production would come down, and public opposition would lead to closure of a plant. Now, this not only applies to industrial plants, even in city development, this applies. You all must have heard of the water crisis in Bangalore. You know, when in 1970, I visited Bangalore as a part of Bharat Darshan of our IAS batch, it was a place where there were lakes galore, the gardens were galore, and the lakes were brimming with absolutely crystal clear water. The temperature was such that the place where we were staying, I think there were barely 1 or 2 fans there, but it was not required. Now, from there, when I went there again in 1982, I found that not only fans, but even coolers had become necessary. And now you can't live in Bangalore without ACs. And what happened to those lakes with crystal clear water? Because of greed, because of mismanagement of people in the government, all the catchment area of the lakes was given off for real estate development. And all the industrial waste of that area was allowed to be dumped into the rivers. You must have heard last year or year before, the huge froth of those chemical waste had come on the road, and the road had to be closed for a couple of hours. What I'm saying is that if you do not take care of sustenance in development, then the development would not last. In Bangalore, there is no water. You are given half a bucket of water a day. The solution that we are trying to find is that the 5th phase of Kaveri, they say, should be expedited so that water could be available. A better and more sustainable thing would have been to clear the catchment area of the lakes and to clear the lakes and not permit any industrial effluent to be dumped there. Because ultimately, you have to take care of sustenance. Unless you take care of sustenance, there is no way in which development can take place. You know, in our scriptures also, if you look at Vedas, we pray to Prithvi, we pray to Antariksh, we pray to trees, we pray to fire, and we pray to Vayu. So we want all those things to remain pristine, pure, so that people would enjoy these natural gifts to the maximum possible extent. Education becomes extremely relevant because we have to sensitize our youth to the sustainability of whatever activities are undertaken by the government, by the industry, by the society. We have to sensitize them so that when they become entrepreneurs, when they start working, they are able to take care of it. And communication again is extremely important because the communication media now is so huge that the message of sustainability can surely be propagated more effectively so that everybody becomes conscious of it and we are able to take care of the sustenance. Without dilating on the whole thing, I would say that revisiting business, education, and communication through the lens of sustainable development is not merely a moral duty, but a strategic requirement. And unless we are able to take care of it, there is no way we would be able to become Viksit. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening words. It is our privilege to have Ms. Radhika Jha, Associate Dean of Graduate Studies and Academic Engagement, the Leslie H. and William L. Collins College of Professional Studies, St. John's University, USA, as our esteemed guest. Ma'am will join us online. I request the teams to play video of ma'am. Radhika Jha is Associate Dean of Graduate Program and Academic Engagement in Collins College of Professional Studies at St. John's University, New York. Her background is in economics and finance, and she has taught courses at graduate and undergraduate level. She has presented papers at many regional national conferences which are published widely in the field of micro enterprises, microfinance, and economic growth. Her current research interests are in learning sciences and online learning, more specifically in computer-supported collaborative learning. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, our esteemed guests, for their gracious presence.
A very good morning to everyone. My heartiest greetings to Director Dr. Rajni Dhingra, Dr. Bharti Chaudhary, esteemed colleagues of Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Management Studies, and other distinguished guests from across higher education. I want to thank you, Dr. Dhingra and Dr. Chaudhary, for inviting me to this very important international conference on revisiting business, education, and communication with an emphasis on sustainable development. It is truly an honor to be given this opportunity, and I'm genuinely excited to address such a distinguished audience. It is a great honor and privilege for St. John's University, New York, also to partner with Maims on this very timely and important global conference. The theme and significance of the conference resonate deeply with me, as my background and interests have been in business and education. I believe that events like these serve as catalysts for innovation, collaboration, and progress towards a shared vision of a more sustainable future. In this dynamic and rapidly evolving global landscape, having the focus of business and education on sustainability and development would play a pivotal role in shaping the trajectory of our society. The decisions which we make today, especially in today's world of AI-driven decisions, will have far-reaching consequences for generations to come. As educators and practitioners, it is imperative for us to rethink our approaches, to challenge the status quo, and to embrace sustainable practices that not only ensure our prosperity and social equity, but also promote an efficient use of our resources. The theme of this conference is very timely and very important, as it underscores the interconnectedness of these three important pillars: business, education, and communication in driving sustainable development. Business, as the engine of our economy, holds the power to drive change through responsible practices and innovative solutions. Education, as the cornerstone of personal and societal growth, empowers us with the knowledge and skills to unlock our potential and contribute meaningfully to society. And communication, as the catalyst for change, bridges the gap between ideas and action, encouraging collaboration and promoting social inclusion and peace in society. I was browsing through the schedule for the conference, and I see that there are many thought-provoking and exciting sessions and paper presentations on important topics in business transformation, analytics, social demographics, and other relevant topics in business education and communication. And I'm really looking forward to listen and to participate in those exciting sessions. Once again, I want to thank Maharaja Agrasen Institute for inviting me, and I extend my best wishes for success of this exciting endeavor. Thank you.
We thank Ms. Radhika Jha for her online message. Moving ahead, we have amongst us Mr. Ibai Rigbai, architect and urban planner, RWTH, Aachen University, Germany. Sir is currently working as an editor for the newborn digital platform urbannext.net as a coordinator at the Aga Khan Trust for Culture. Sir was based in Geneva, and the most projects he was involved in are for the Historic Cities program, which are located in West Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. His work implicated assisting and training local teams as well as supervising architecture preservation projects and newly designed buildings. So responsibilities include international and local staff team management. So has been a guest lecturer and critic at the Architectural Association, Mite Maryland, visiting schools in Algeria, Alexandria, and Izmir at Cornell University, in Itaha at Columbia University, GSAP Studio in Paris, and at the Escuela Tecnia Superior de Arquitectura de Barcelona. I invite Mr. Rigbai to deliver his address. Over to you, sir.
Hello. Thank you, everyone, for attending this lecture. Thank you for the committee for inviting me to give this lecture. We are very short on time, so I'll try to rush. I'm currently based in Germany, in Aachen, but I'm originally from Spain, where this fake image is taken for. And I spent most of my professional life working in different countries, such as the US, Switzerland, France, and now in Germany. So I'm really not against moving around the world and being curious. I'm an architect, and I was a little bit surprised at the beginning of being invited in this lecture of business and management because, well, being an architect is not a very good business choice. But anyway, I'll try to do my best because I'm teaching, so the part of the education has something to do with me, and also the concern on sustainability. So, one of the problems we face as educators in the university level is that most programs are designed to train students for the needs of today. And if you look at your curricula, probably you will find things that, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be critical and I don't know everything. But in many universities, still many things belong to times that are not today and not the future. So what's the future? We don't know. Nobody has I don't have a glass balloon where I can see what the future will look like. But it seems many experts, 90% of scientists working on the weather expect global warming to be a reality and to see the seas coming up. So, and this is an image of how Barcelona will look like, but it's not only Barcelona that's going to be under the sea. These are some studies of cities in India, and I really want to know what would happen if a city like Mumbai has to evacuate and move somewhere else. And this is really a big problem. I mean, it's not about a small problem of a tree dying here and there. It's about full cities moving and huge migrations happening. And this probably is, I mean, probably the good news and the bad news is probably climate change is not going to kill us. It's probably going to be the wars caused by all these migrations that will take place because of climate change. Anyway, so what do we do? So, I mean, as an architect, I was thinking, well, how can I think about a manager, a businessman that has some kind of link with design? And I was thinking about Elon Musk. No? So, for example, Elon Musk is someone who's taking climate change very seriously, and since many years ago, is trying to make the main way we move around cities more ecological. So many years ago, he designed the Tesla Roadster. This was the first Tesla that was based on the Lotus, a British sports car. And the idea, the business model was that he would make this very, very expensive car with a huge margin of profits. So he will have more money to research into cars that he could sell to everyone else. And then in 2012 came the Tesla X. I mean, I'm a little bit of a car blind, but he's been developing all these cars with these funny doors. So all these cars, and then suddenly he came with a surprise. I mean, all the architects were surprised. Why is Elon Musk suddenly making roof tiles? I mean, he came and he presented this roof tile. I mean, he makes cars. Why is he making these things? And he even has these very different ways of making roofs that will be solar roof types. And he also was at the same time he was presenting the Powerball. So Elon Musk has a vision for the future. I mean, if everyone is to own a Tesla or an electric vehicle, you'll probably have to produce electricity yourself, because nowhere in the world there's enough electric production to fill every electric car if every car was electric. And then the next surprise was when he came and decided to invest in the Boring Company, a very funny name for a boring company. And why is he doing this? And of course, he explained, well, he wants to improve transportation. But the reality is that in order to supply all the lithium he needs for all the batteries he needs for his cars, he needs to be deeper and deeper, and that cannot be done with current technology. So he has to start investing now. So in the future, he has the technology to reach those lithium resources that he needs to keep selling cars in the future. And then what's next? Why did he send the Tesla Roadster to the moon, but not to the moon, to the space? Well, if he's to produce lithium and all these rare materials, maybe he will run out of these materials in Earth, and he will need to start exploring extraterrestrial spaces to get these materials. So that's why he's investing. So here I'm looking at someone who's really looking 2-3 chapters ahead. But what if Tesla cars are not really cars? And maybe, I mean, it is said that Tesla knows the state of every road in the world better than any government, because every Tesla is like a sensor, no? And it senses where where are there holes and where there's bumps in the roads and all these kinds of things, no? So in a way, Tesla is not only producing cars, but it's becoming a huge machine of generating knowledge. And then with this satellite, the Starlink system, and after he bought Twitter, no, in a way, I'm pretty sure that Elon Musk thinks himself as someone who could suddenly become a great, I don't know if ruler, but someone like an oracle for the rest of the world, no? Someone who knows everything about everything. But he's already started, and as he knows so much, he's seen that, well, maybe the future doesn't look that nice, because not everybody will agree with his utopia. So then the last car he presented is this bulletproof Cybertruck, which is bulletproof, because he's already thinking in a world where inequality is going to be so massive that people will need, like those who can afford to buy trucks, will need to be defended in this kind of bulletproof car. So, and well, this is the design. So he pretends that he's presenting something very innovative, but at the end, it doesn't look too different to a car that was designed in the 80s. So in a way, what is this future about? No? Is it a real future? Or is it just some nostalgia of someone who was looking at comics in the 80s and trying to replicate this future that is already 40 years old? Anyway, these are some images of what the future as designed and thought by Elon Musk might be. And he's not the only one. I mean, if you take Steve Jobs and all the Apple world, you can see that, well,
out how can we do things simpler, completely emancipate ourselves from the dictatorship of technology. And then we had to do a roof, so we used bamboo, and bamboo is a very extreme material, and it's very common in India. And well, this is just some examples. And after doing this building, we also did a trip to India, and we visited some colleagues here. So India is also the cutting edge in some places, in some offices are really working hard in finding alternatives to this kind of nostalgic future, like a future that belonged to the 60s, 70s, 80s, but doesn't belong today, no? And maybe the future has to look something different. So yeah, this is just a tribute to those Indian colleagues that are also working on the same spirit. And yeah, so this is the last image. So what I want to say is that and building very simply is not going to change the world, but at least as a form of education, having people working outside of their air-conditioned offices and touching reality with their own hands, feeling the smell of mud, of the heat, is a way to understand better what's going around us, and it probably will make you better managers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was an insightful, very creative presentation. Moving ahead, we have with us Dr. Jwala Prasad, Director Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Smriti. Sir has served as a Registrar of National School of Drama. He was Assistant Registrar at Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Bihar. Sir was Assistant Registrar of JNU and also deputed as Officer on Special Duty of Vice Chancellor of JNU. Before this, Sir was Joint Registrar of University of Delhi and Assistant Professor at Hindu College, Delhi University. I invite Dr. Jwala Prasad for his address. Over to you, sir.
अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। महाराजा अग्रसेन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट स्टडी द्वारा आयोजित इस इंटरनेशनल सेमिनार के शुभ अवसर पे मंच पे उपस्थित ऑनरेबल एक्टिंग चेयरमैन रेस्पेक्टेड एसपी अग्रवाल साहब, ऑनरेबल सेक्रेटरी श्रीमान रजनीश गुप्ता जी, रेस्पेक्टेड प्रोफेसर एसके गर्ग साहब, रेस्पेक्टेड विजय गर्ग साहब, मैडम रजनी मल्होत्रा ढिंगरा, एंड मैडम another distinguished madam here, respected faculty members, our friends डॉक्टर पाठक, डॉक्टर गुलशन और आप सभी, विकसित भारत जिनके कंधों पे है, ऐसे देश के युवा भविष्य विद्यार्थी, आप सभी का मैं इस कार्यशाला में, इस सेमिनार में, इंटरनेशनल सेमिनार में अभिवादन करता हूं। आप सभी को नमस्ते। सुखद संजोग है, जब मैं बैठा था तो पीछे लाइट ऑफ था, तो मुझे लगा कि ज्वाला के रहते अंधकार कैसे हो गया, लेकिन अभी लाइट ऑन है, सभी लोग दृश्यमान हैं, दिख रहे हैं। और प्रोफेसर जोशी ने ओपनिंग रिमार्क में, मिस्टर चौधरी ने, और अभी मेरे से पहले जो वक्ता थे, बहुत सारे विषयों पे मुझे लगता है कि आप सभी को विशद ज्ञान एक बृहद रूप में प्रस्तुत किया जा चुका है। लेकिन अपनी संस्कृति में एक श्लोक है, पोथी पढ़ी पढ़ी जग मुआ, पंडित भया न कोय, ढाई आखर प्रेम का पढ़े सो पंडित होय। हम पूरे दिन भर चर्चा करते हैं, काफी लंबा सत्र होता है, पीपीटी दिखाया जाता है, प्रेजेंटेशन होता है, बहुत सारी थ्योरी और प्रैक्टिकल बातें होती हैं, हम लेकर कितना जाते हैं, अनिवार्य रूप से हमें इसको समझना है। रिविजिटिंग बिजनेस एजुकेशन, सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, ये सारे टॉपिक बड़े रेलिवेंट हैं, लेकिन मैं आप सबसे ये पूछना चाहूंगा, पीछे आया कि वेल्थ क्रिएशन करना होगा, हमें विकसित भारत बनाना है, तो लेकिन आखिर वो वेल्थ क्रिएशन किस कॉस्ट पे? मैं गांधी स्मृति दर्शन समिति से आया हूं। यहां जानकर खुशी हुई कि महाराजा अग्रसेन इंस्टीट्यूट अपना 25 वर्ष पूर्ण कर रहा है। इस अवसर पे संपूर्ण प्रबंधक मंडली और आप सभी को मैं बधाई देना चाहूंगा। साथ ही आज एक ऐतिहासिक दिन भी है। आप सभी को जानकारी होगी, आज से लगभग 75 वर्ष पूर्व, 95 वर्ष पूर्व, सॉरी, 30 मार्च 1930 में 12 मार्च के दिन, आज ही के दिन गांधी ने दांडी यात्रा शुरू की थी। लगभग 95 वर्ष आज पूर्ण हो रहे हैं और इस अवसर पे हम सभी आपके इंस्टीट्यूट में, पीछे आपके फैकल्टी मेंबर्स और कुछ डिपार्टमेंट के बच्चों ने गांधी दर्शन का विजिट भी किया। हम सब यहाँ महात्मा गांधी सेंटर फॉर पीस एंड नॉन वायलेंस भी शुरू कर रहे हैं और गांधी स्टडी सर्कल भी यहाँ शुरू करने जा रहे हैं। जो मैंने कहा कि वेल्थ क्रिएशन, आप सभी को ध्यान होगा, महात्मा गांधी जब मोहन के रूप में अपनी जीवन की यात्रा शुरू करते हैं, उनके पिताजी राजकोट के दीवान हैं और एक अच्छे घर, आप सब गांधी दर्शन यदि गए होंगे तो उस समय जो बचपन अवस्था में गांधी का घर है वो महल होता है। तो ये ग्रेट लीडर की यात्रा जो होती है वो महल से शुरू होती है और आश्रम तक आकर समाप्त। लेकिन आज हम सब वेल्थ क्रिएशन में इतने मंत्रमुग्ध हैं, आश्रम से सटे हैं, वहां तक जाते हैं, लेकिन वैल्यू की बात सुनकर मुझे खुशी हुई कि यहाँ कुछ वैल्यू होने जा रहे हैं। अमेरिका में ब्रेन ड्रेन होता है, शिफ्ट हो जाता क्या है, तुम जाओ और 5 स्टार होटल में सो जाओ। उसने कहा नहीं, मैं तो सोने जाता हूं तो मुझे याद आता है कि वहां का मैनेजर फोन कर रहा है, वहां मेरा केस चल रहा है, यहाँ मेरा इतना बिजनेस है, वहां ऐसा चल रहा है, मुझे तो नींद आती नहीं है। तो उसने कहा कि नहीं, तुम इन सबको कुछ देर के लिए भूलो और चैन की नींद से सो। उसने कहा नहीं, मैं कितना भी भुलाने का प्रयास कर रहा हूं लेकिन मुझे चैन की नींद नहीं आती है। उसने कहा ठीक है, तो तुम ये सब छोड़ो और आराम करके जाकर सो जाओ, पूरे एकदम आराम से। तो उसने कहा कि फिर ये तो 20 साल पहले मैं जो नाव पे सो रहा था वही कार्य कर रहा था। तो मुझे मित्रों अपने व्यवसाय को जो बढ़ाना है, हमें चयन के साथ, इतना भी वैश्वीकरण में इतना भी मंत्र मुग्ध नहीं हो जाना है कि हम अपने शॉर्ट टेम्पर्ड हो जाते हैं, गुस्सा को कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाते। तो मुझे लगता है जिस अवसर पे ये गांधी जी की फिलॉसफी है, गांधी जी जो लक्ष्य प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं, जो लक्ष्य तय करना चाहते हैं, एंड्स को प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं, उसके लिए होलिस्टिक जॉब और जो मीन्स है वो उस तरह का पवित्र मीन्स माध्यम से वो प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं। और गांधी का कहना है कि अगर हम अपने जीवन को आसान बनाना चाहते हैं तो हमें लगता है कि हमें बहुत उपदेशात्मक नहीं है होना चाहिए, हमें क्रियान्वयात्मक होना चाहिए। हम बहुत बड़ी बड़ी बात कर देते हैं लेकिन उसको व्यवहार में नहीं ला पाते। गांधी भी बहुत बड़े बड़े काम नहीं किए, बहुत छोटा छोटा वो काम किए, लेकिन उन्होंने व्यवहार में उस कार्य को करके दिखाया। तो एक इस अवसर पे मैं शेर से अपनी बात समाप्त करना चाहूंगा। कुछ इस कदर मैंने अपने जिंदगी को आसान कर लिया, कुछ इस कदर मैंने अपने जीवन को आसान कर लिया, किसी को माफी दे दी तो किसी से माफी मांग लिया। मुझे लगता है कि आज हमें कोई भी कार्य कर रहे हैं और ये दो फिलॉसफी को लेके चल रहे हैं तो शायद जियो और जीने दो की भावना के साथ खुद की चयन की जिंदगी भी हम जी सकते हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। पुनः महाराजा अग्रसेन इंस्टीट्यूट के संपूर्ण प्रबंधक को, संपूर्ण प्राध्यापक मंडली को और विद्यार्थियों को मैं हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं। धन्यवाद।
आपने सही कहा, विकसित भारत के निर्माण के लिए
sustainable development. I being an architect by profession, and presently doing honors of serving the government of Delhi for environmental protection of or environmental protecting environmental damage to buildings in Delhi. So, what Dr. S.V. Agrawal sir has already told you, he's touched upon very relevant subjects relevant to this conference regarding water, air, and dust, which are being one of the most important factors of concern today. And what it but people believe that sustainable development is a costly affair, and earlier people were talking about green buildings, green development, and but there is a difference between green development and sustainable development. Sustainable development talk about reusing, recycling, being ground to earth, not using much resources, or maybe recycling most of the resources. A small example, if we relate to water. Water is available in plenty, but is available free. But at the same time, we have, every one of us knows, and Dr. Our chairman also touched upon this subject, that water is scarce and water people are not getting water, and there may be next world war on water. What is happening? The water is available, but use of water and management of water is a bigger concern. If today we talk about water in such that what our buildings use water, and because I am primarily an architect, I'll give an example of the architecture, that if we have to use 100 kiloliter of water, 65% at least can be recycled from that water and reused in the same building, thereby bringing the potable water requirement by 65%. And rest can be generated through rainwater harvesting, rainwater storage, etc., etc. And we talk about that sustainable water development, where we have zero discharge of water, so that there is no burden on the sewerage system and no flooding of water on the streets, if we follow these simple techniques. And that is where we work in sustainable development and as an environmental committee in Delhi, that whatever buildings are being made in Delhi today, our job is to ensure that they use maximum or the 100% of water being used by building and recycled, and thereby minimum requirement of water and electricity energy is regenerated through various sources. And ultimate aim is to zero carbon footprint in time to come by 2041. That is the target. And major buildings in today's environment, where we have large buildings, and that is the biggest target. And where the role of management institutions come in. That is where this conference has a lot of meaning, that management students have to talk about economy of use, and economy of use by talking of life cycle cost of each material, each usage, and in turn making sustainable development a preferable choice. And today it is the requirement that we need to talk about sustainable development, and it is a compulsion that if we don't do this in time to come, it will become a problem for tomorrow. So today we need to talk about dust management. We talk about sewage management. We need to talk about heating of buildings. What we talk about the cooler buildings means less increase in temperature outside in the ambient air, and at the same time making buildings cool, reducing the requirement of air conditioning and other parameters which increases load on the infrastructure. So all that is the requirement, and which can be managed by the proper management of the buildings. And that is where the environmental impact assessment to minimize the ecological footprint of the operations and production supply chain becomes the job of a management profession. And that is why we need to talk about this in the classroom. That is why we need to talk about when these MBA students go to the field, they need to talk about environmental impact and their cost of the product, cost of the operations, and eventually the cost of the product, which is more favorable, more responsible, and more sellable in the market. And as a social responsibility, it is our responsibility that we need to talk about the fair labor practices, diversity of initiatives, and contribute positive and local communities. Then economic viability, ensure that sustainable practices are economically viable, contribute to long-term business growth. Because it is most important if we can prove it to people that it's economically viable to do sustainable development, people will love it and they will prefer. Then innovation is required today to culture of innovation to develop eco-friendly products and services and processes. It is important because the eco-friendly products are more liked by people in terms of now people are more conscious of the environment, the damage to their livelihood, and ultimately the objective of the every educated person or every product seller or product developer that their processes are environmentally not damaging and sustainable for a proper development, and thereby coming to sustainable supply chain management, and there's the transparency required in that whatever sustainable efforts we are taking to develop the product or talk about recycling and reuse, it is informed to people that what is this and how it is reducing, and it is not damaging. Like people don't like to reuse water for drinking purposes, recycled water. But ultimately, if you see, 80% of the water is recycled in one way or the other for being used for drinking purposes. And there is an effort by the people that we need to be so that the water people like that understand the use of recycled water is useful, and there's a technology being developed by government, and so where that people can recycle the water within their household and use it for many purposes other than drinking. But maybe in time to come we will talk about drinking water to be used by from recycled usage. And ultimately, the customer communication regarding business management and profitability. So, what I mean to say, the business development and we talk about environmental sustainability go hand in hand, and they can serve the purpose, a long-term purpose and objective of the nation for developing a product or the business environment which is sustainable and environmentally feasible. Because time being short, I would like to close it here for the time being. Thank you so much for inviting me, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Moving ahead, we have the message from the torchbearer of our institute, Dr. Nandkishore Garji, founder, chairman, and chief advisor, Maharaja Agrasen Technical Education Society, Maims, and Chancellor, Maharaja Agrasen University, Himachal Pradesh. Dr. Garg, a well-known reader and orator on his degree in chemistry and law from University of Delhi, so has been awarded honorary D.Litt by Gurukul Vishwavidyalaya. So has a long association in politics, wherein he was elected as a member of Legislative Assembly and represented Delhi Vidhan Sabha for 3 times. So was given Best Parliamentarian Award also by the Delhi government. So is presently pioneering the field of technical and professional education from last 21 years. Sir will join us online today, and sir will proceed with the presidential address for the MIC 2024.
Namaskar. Good morning to every participant. I am very happy that our Maims is organizing an international conference 2024, revisiting business, education, and communication with an emphasis on sustainable development. This event is sponsored by Indian Council for Social Science Research, and academic partner is St. John's University, New York, USA. I am right now in Thailand, but would have been very happy to attend this conference. Many learned academicians from India and abroad are participating in this session. I welcome you all. Maharaja Agrawal Institute of Management Studies is a very prestigious A++ institute affiliated to GGSIP University, and we are fortunate that we have earned A++ accreditation around the neck. Our institute is growing fast. We hope to achieve autonomous status by the year end. We are celebrating 25th year of our existence. Right now, we have around 9,000 students and 1,000 staff, including class 4 to principal, director general, etc. This conference will give exposure to our teachers, to our students, and will help to achieve the goal of developed India by 2047, as is said by our beloved Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. We will contribute our might to this development. Sustainable development is the buzzword. Development should be all-inclusive also. I wish all the success to this conference. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your blessings and message. Now, I would like to invite Professor S.P. Garg, Director General. Prior to Sir's appointment at Maims, Sir had a long and illustrious career of over 4 decades at University of Delhi, and Sir has served in various prestigious positions, including the principal of Deen Dayal Upadhyay University of Delhi for more than 20 years. Amongst his many noteworthy achievements, one of his important achievements includes that of designing choice-based credit system in 2014. Sir has been a recipient of Ambassador for Peace Award conferred by International Federation for World Peace. Over to you, sir, Professor Dr. S.P. Garg.
Good afternoon, friends. Can I have your response? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. That's better. The job of the last speaker is most difficult and most easy. Do you know why? Can I request you to be silent for 3 minutes? All of you, students, can you be silent for 3 minutes? Because that's the time I'm going to take. The job of the last speaker is most difficult because the other speakers have already covered everything and nothing is left to be spoken. And it is most easy, again for the same reason, because everything has been said. So what I am going to do is, I take up only 2 things out of the national education policy. Do you know why the theme of this conference is revisiting? Why do we have to revisit? We have to revisit because the national education policy, which came up in 2020 and has been implemented from 2022 because of COVID and other reasons. This policy, the more you read, the more you realize how much work has gone into in making this policy. Friends, I have taken 2 aspects from this policy today. One is The policy emphasizes that our students must learn the Indian knowledge system. The Director, Higher Education, has mentioned a lot of things, almost covered everything which I wanted to say if I had got a chance earlier. So I'm not going to repeat it. But from the Indian knowledge system, I will cite some examples which will convince you that our system was far superior than the education system of any country of the world. The director told you that around 500 AD, the Nalanda University came into existence. And around 1100, it was destroyed by the invaders. The Nalanda library burned for 6 months. So much was the volume of books in it. It continuously burned for 6 months. Our knowledge system was destroyed. Still, you can find innumerable examples of our expertise in various fields still alive. I'll take the case of architecture. If you happen to visit the various monuments and temples in South India, in Rajasthan, and in almost every state of the country, you will find that the architecture is so good, so marvelous, that the modern day architects are at a loss to understand how it would have been built. I wish I had the capability to show you visually, but there is a temple in which an animal is shown, probably a lion, and in the mouth of the lion there is a spherical ball, all made of stone, all carved out of a single stone. And the ball is in the mouth, can be rolled, can be moved, but cannot be taken out. Nobody is able to tell how it would have been built. In the same temple, there is a chain cut out of a single rock in which 4 rings are hanging, and how that has been carved out is difficult to comprehend. This is just one example of architecture I'm saying. Health. You must know that yoga is now accepted as the best exercise all over the world. And in yoga, let me tell you, there is no gym, there is no sports which can help you exercising for your brain. Your brain is covered inside your skull, and no exercise can carry out any exercise of the brain. But in yoga, you must have heard of one pranayam, that is Bhramari pranayam. How many of you have heard it? Please raise your hands. Bhramari pranayam. No, hardly anyone. It is just closing your ears and producing a humming sound while exhaling your breath. And while you exhale and produce this humming sound, your brain can feel the vibrations. And that is the exercise for your brain. Besides, the Ayurvedic system of medicine is well known, well established in India, and is being promoted across the world now. Regarding astronomy and mathematics, Joshi ji mentioned about zero diya mere Bharat mein. That is true. You must have heard of one Chinese learner, Yuan Shen. How many of you have heard it in history? Yuan Shen? There is a story which Yuan Shen has narrated in his experiences after going back to China. While he was going, because there was no other modes of transport, so he was walking through the hills and mountains. And while he reached in China, he was caught by a tribe of people who were tribals, who did not know who he is. And they thought he is somebody dangerous to them. He may cause them harm. And so they decided to kill him. He was scared. He said, I am not a bad man, I am a good man, and I have the power to make the moon disappear. So they were surprised. They said, okay, you make the moon disappear. He said, give me 2 days. After 2 days, it was lunar eclipse and the moon disappeared. So they thought he is a saint and started worshipping him. So the things changed totally. And he could do it because he had learned the astronomical calculations and he knew that the lunar eclipse is going to happen soon. And that is how he could save his life. So this astronomy and mathematics, they were far more developed in our country much before they developed in the Western world. Even our calendar, you must have heard of the name Vikrami Samvat. Can anybody tell me which Vikrami Samvat is going on? Which is the year this at the moment? Like 2024 is as per the Christian era. What year it is? Is it now as per the Vikrami Samvat? It's 2080. So we started our calendar half a century before the Europeans started it. हमारा 2080 चल रहा है और उनका 2024 है. तो हमारा कैलेंडर पहले शुरू हुआ. एग्रीकल्चर आजकल क्रेज है ऑर्गेनिक फूड्स का. यू पे डबल द प्राइस एंड बाय ऑर्गेनिक पल्सेस, ऑर्गेनिक राइस, ऑर्गेनिक, अब तो ऑर्गेनिक मिल्क और ऑर्गेनिक घी भी नाम दे दिया है क्योंकि हमारी गाय को हम ऑर्गेनिक चारा खिलाते हैं. That is the kind of craze that is going on. Our agriculture system was based on organic, utilizing organic waste only. We didn't have to pollute our rivers with the excreta. The excreta was an organic waste, a manure, and was used for agricultural purposes. Our system was environment friendly. This is the system which the Europeans developed. And about environment, needless to say, that we have been worshipping rivers by calling them mothers, माँ गंगा, यमुना मैया. किसी भी रिवर के साथ देख लीजिए आप, माँ का या मैया का नाम लगा हुआ. पेड़ों की भी पूजा करते हैं. हमारे यहाँ जो banyan tree है, वर्ल्ड का वृक्ष से बोलते हैं, और पीपल ट्री, they are worshipped because they do not deplete our environmental resources. They give you oxygen. Even one of them gives oxygen even during the night time. On the contrary, we were asked to promote trees like eucalyptus, which have depleted our water table in Delhi particularly to such an extent that the water table went almost 50-60 feet down after huge eucalyptus plantation was done in Delhi. So my friends, have faith in our Indian knowledge system, and my request to the faculty members is, it will be very difficult to teach Indian knowledge system as a specific paper. Kindly take examples from Indian knowledge system and imbibe them into your routine lectures. This is how we can promote Indian knowledge system. And second thing I would like to touch from NDP is skilling. Our education should not be based on memorizing theoretical concepts. We need to improve the skill sets of our students. We need to make them industry ready for employment. And that will be possible through internships in real work-life situations. So these two aspects I have touched. There are many more. Please read more about it from the internet. A lot of material is available, and I'm sure you will find why there was a need to revisit business education. I thought it is business education, but it is business education and communication, but it is business education as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of wisdom. We have amongst us our panelists for our panel session. So I would like to invite our esteemed guests who are present here with us for the next session. I would like to invite Professor Dr. Neetu Jain, Professor, Indian Institute of Public Administration on the dais. I request Professor Dr. Manju Gupta, Head Department of Commerce, and Dr. Bharti Chaudhary, Associate Professor, Department of Business Administration, to welcome ma'am with the sapling and memento. Ma'am, please. A huge round of applause. Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite I request students to please be seated on their seats. We are about to release our compendium. Please take your seats. Everyone, please settle down. I request discipline committee to please make all the students sit. Now we have amongst us Mr. Shishir Sinha, Associate Editor, The Hindu Business Line, Delhi. I request Sri F.T. Agarwal ji and Dr. Umesh Pathak to welcome sir with the sapling memento and gift. Mr. Shishir Sinha, Associate Editor, The Hindu Business Line. A huge round of applause. Next, we have amongst us Mr. Abhishek Gupta, General Manager and Head, International Appliances and Strategy, EESI, Ministry of Power, Government of India. I request Sri Rajneesh Gupta ji and Professor Dr. Neelam Sharma to welcome sir with a sapling memento and a gift.
Great.
I request all the dignitaries to please be seated. Our international conference MIT 24 aims to encourage knowledge sharing and research results from the best of academia and industry experts. to encourage national and international communication, collaboration, and to promote professional interaction. Outstanding proposals, contribution, and ideas have been chronicled by the organizers of this conference in the form of conference compendium. I request all the dignitaries and the conference team, conference co-conveners, Dr. Majdood, Dr. Manoj, Dr. Mesh Pathak, Dr. Gaurav Agarwal, conveners, Dr. Bharti Chaudhary, Dr. Charu Mola, Dr. Shilpi Agarwal, co-conveners, Dr. Deepak Dagar, Dr. Shikha Sharma, and Dr. Monica Sharma to come for compendium release. I request conference team to come on the dais. Chief conveners, convener, and co-conveners of this international conference. A huge round of applause. I request the team to join in for a group photograph. A huge round of applause, everyone. The compendium comprises of all the abstracts of the research papers that we have received for our international conference on revisiting business, education, and communication with an emphasis on sustainable development. Thank you, everyone. This compendium is a compilation of knowledge and insights about the new research by our esteemed participants. Draw near to the conclusion of this enriching journey, we express our heartfelt gratitude to all the dignitaries who are there with us and all the participants who have enrolled for this conference and the insightful contributions they have given to us. I would like to propose the vote of thanks for the session. I would like to thank Dr. Nankishore Garji, Founder Chairman and Chief Advisor Maims for his forever support for us. I would like to thank Shri Vinit Kumar Loya, Chairman Maims in absentia, Shri S.P. Agarwalji, Shri Rajni Guptaji, Dr. S.P. Garg, Professor Dr. Dhananjay Joshi, Shri Bhupesh Chaudhary, Mr. Ibai Vigbai, Mr. Vijay Garg, Dr. Dala Prasad, Dr. Neetu Jain, Mr. Shishir Sinha. I want students to please maintain silence and take their seats. Yes, students. I thank all the dignitaries, all the head of departments, conference team, faculty members, and students for joining us. Thank you, everyone. Dear students, we are going to resume the panel discussion session after 15 minutes. All of you are requested to join back. Thank you.
आयुष सर का सम्मान होगा इसके बाद सर का सम्मान बेटा रास्ता छोड़ दो प्लीज